Good morning, Ina, and welcome back to the Carb Paleo show.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning to you, and good morning to Mark. How are you? How's
Wonderful,
everyone?
thank you. As always, no point being anything else.
I guess everyone's still alive, huh? You're
Good.
checking? Yeah, you're checking, yeah. Well, I am. So let's go into this discussion du jour, I guess. So we're going to talk about COVID-19, and thank you, Ina, for coming back. And could you remind us quickly who you are, what you do?
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes. I practice functional medicine in my company called Real Health Solutions, and I'm a creator of Digestive Reset program. It's my signature program. Took years to put it together, experience, knowledge, a lot of learning, and now I also wrote two books. One called Crohn's and Colitis is behind me actually too, and the other one was Digestive Reset, the second one. The second book came out last year. Both were bestsellers, so I'm super proud. And I offer my clients really different programs. So you know how there's traditional medicine, integrative health, and functional medicine. What I do in my program combine the best of all worlds, my knowledge, my experience as a patient myself, because I had Crohn's myself, and I was really sick, and that's how I came to natural health. So I decided that this would be the right next step for me to help someone else who went through the same, to give my best and to offer what really works. And that's my signature Digestive Reset program.
Cool. So tell us, I understand you live in New Jersey, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's one of the hot spots when it comes to COVID. What has been your experience there as far as, I know you're probably stuck at home, but what's going on?
Yes, it's not comfortable. It wasn't really comfortable from day one when the kids couldn't go to school, and things were so many questions unanswered. My business, I have a lot of clients that are I work with through Zoom online, so I was not as affected. So I was working from home. My husband is a community pharmacist, so he's in front lines the entire time. Which actually puts us in a little higher risk in my family, because he comes home every day after seeing patients on a daily basis. Kids are home, and it has its pluses, right? We're going to see the silver lining. I love that I see their faces every day, more than ever. But a lot of my clients were really scared, especially the ones with the ones that I'm seeing: Crohn's, colitis, IBS, chronic illnesses, serious conditions that require them to take, for example, immunosuppressive medications. They were really worried because we need that immunity right now more than ever. And what happens if you're taking an immunosuppressant for maintenance? So that was a huge question everybody kept on asking me. I really didn't have an answer. With all my education, with my doctorate degree, with all my extensive learning, I did not have an answer, because it's a new virus. It's a new finding. All these things that we are doing right now are in trial basis. Even the protocols they use in hospitals, even the things they're trying in integrative health, based on such a tiny little clinical reports. There's no extensive placebo-controlled studies that will say, yes, this is it. This is what's going to work, and this is not going to work. All these things that we are seeing, which some of them looking really good, like in natural health, the zinc supplementation, vitamin C has been tried, even in the hospitals in New York here. it's wonderful. But yes, we're still learning, we're still finding out, and hopefully, we're getting out of the house a month, I hope. Again, it's still in the works.
Right, right. Speaking of which, have you heard about Dr. Raoul in France and his, what is it called, chloroquine?
The
And
Plaquenil medication.
yeah,
Yeah.
plus zinc, plus an antibiotic. What's your take on that?
From what I have seen, the reports, even here, a local doctor here in New York, Dr. Zelenko, he's also used that protocol with Zithromax, with Plaquenil, vitamin C, zinc. It looked pretty great. He's, as far as I know, again, this is not a placebo-controlled trial, but as far as I know, as far as what I heard and what he shared in videos, it was curable. Yeah.
Yes, I have heard of that experiment in New York as well. Dr. Raoul, Professor Raoul, actually, he's a professor, he's a PhD, has done a larger test, for the past few weeks, obviously, because the first one was very small. It was only like 24 people.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, it's all, the results are amazing. The thing is, of course, the whole quote unquote traditional pharmaceutical and medical environment is absolutely against him because, of course, they'd rather sell their expensive vaccines instead of buying a cheap drug, right? That's going to actually solve the problem. And then I also heard about this, I think it's a Jewish Russian doctor, right, in New York?
That's a link that I just mentioned, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and he's been testing that on his, community, basically, and with positive results. So,
great results.
You have President Trump mentioning it on, direct on TV, and everybody around him was like, all the medical quote unquote experts were like shocked and like, you're not doctor. How can you say things like this? And because, and this is the thing that upsets me in these situations, that the medical and pharmaceutical establishment is so powerful that they control what is said, what is done. I mean, when you consider that whole countries have been shut down based on the words of some quote unquote expert, which, are starting to now seriously question, like this gentleman in England, Ferguson, that claimed there was going to be 2.2 million people dead if we didn't do anything. So that freaks out everybody. And then everybody goes, is literally asking for the government to imprison them in their own home, So, I have a strong opinion against this whole situation, and I'll let you talk some about what's your opinion on this.
Yes, it's hard. It's not easy to form an opinion when there's so much going on and so many news, and you don't know which way to turn and who to believe anymore because of really some of the information is ridiculous. Thankfully, I'm able to understand where there's like fake data or fluff in the data or claims that are just like, come on, I'm an educated person. I could figure out that this is just doesn't make sense.
Right.
So but I do still I do believe that we have to have freedom of our choice. That's like huge to me. That's why we got to this country. It was the sole pretty much purpose. It was like so liberating when I got here. I felt like, my God, my whole life is different. So I totally value that. and I would really want my children to still have it.
Yes.
Making anything mandatory takes away the freedom. So I'm uncomfortable. I do believe that certain population might be in benefit of vaccination. I'm not 100% against vaccines for all. Like I said, I'm for freedom.
Yeah.
I'm for freedom of choice, and I am for, like, here's all the information, make your decision.
Yeah, I'm like that too. I tell my friends, because I post some anti-vaccine, information on Facebook, and they get upset at me. I say, you know what? This is still a free country. You decide what's good for you, but I decided I do not want to be vaccinated, and I will not believe what the official establishment is. So even though I'm quote unquote at risk because I'm older, I've been taking care of myself with natural means, strengthening my immune system, and that's all I'm going to do. And we'll talk some more about that too. What is your opinion on wearing mask or not wearing mask?
That's a beautiful question. So originally, like right away when this happened and everybody was putting on masks, it looked from little studies that it would benefit. In the last week or two, from things that I've seen, it probably would still benefit all healthcare workers, because they're around, like when there's a really big outbreak, they're around, viral load around them is so much heavier. So they do need all that protection. They definitely need all the PPE, the protective equipment, and God bless them. We should all pray for them. Do we need it going outside? That's raising a big question for me. What I've seen in the past week or two, that it doesn't seem like it's bringing a benefit. I might change my opinion later. I know for sure healthcare workers a must, but for us, I haven't seen that it could be that effective. Especially, let's even think about how people are wearing masks, what kind of masks, what they're doing wearing the masks. So I see so many people not wearing gloves, for example, having that mask, it itches them, it bothers them, they touch their face 300 times, it becomes worse. It becomes worse, and now you're more prone to get the virus because you've been touching your face with those hands. So hand washing, sanitizing is again a huge question, because now we're going to kill this virus, because it's easy to kill with the sanitizer. Thank God, it's like a wimpy little virus, except it could do horrible things. But a virus itself, RNA, it's easy to destroy virus. But when it's not in the host. But what happens with sanitization, when you clean your hands too much, wash, like using all these Clorox bleaches at home, now you're going to have a home with no good bacteria. Now you're going to your diversity of microbiome will start getting depleted. And this is the patients I see on a daily basis for my past 10 years of practice, depleted gut microbiome. So now we are causing all of that my chronic IBD patients have in majority of population.
Yes, and my place is crawling with bugs, and I did not sanitize, and I'm allergic to bleach, so I never use bleach. I just have a hydrogen peroxide spray that once in a while I'll spray, a little bit around, but I'm really not, going crazy about it. By the way, going back to the mask, I fully agree with you. Professionals should protect themselves. There's no question about it. When you go to the CDC site, there's actually no study to back up the fact that we should wear masks.
Yeah.
Absolutely no studies. Okay, so it's so I get, you know, friends again like complaining, oh, don't you care about other people? I say I do, but I also recommend you strengthen your immune system instead of living in fear, like, you know, basically what they're trying to, you know, put us into this frame of mind of fear, being afraid. Um, so what I do personally, I wear the mask when I go to the grocery store because, you know, just in case, and basically to respect other people's space.
Yeah.
But as soon as I get out of the store, I take off the mask. If I'm out in the open, I don't have a mask. I mean, I see people riding the bicycle with the mask on. They say, you're poisoning yourself. You're inhaling your own CO2. That is just not healthy.
Especially when you're doing an exercise.
Yeah, people are running with a mask, people are bicycling with a mask. That just doesn't make any sense. So,
More education
so
needed, and a lot of people are being hard-headed here. I've heard different opinions. Like, it's so interesting how like we're dividing in these, completely going for crazy conspiracy theories that are insane, or those
yes,
that like totally like all for masks that cover, like, let's clean, like I don't want to hear anything. I'm a little sheep, let me do whatever, you know, that's
yeah,
needed.
yeah, yeah.
Thinking
So,
process has to be involved here. What's good for me?
so
Let's figure.
since you and I and Mark focused on alternative health.
I say for the 4S's, it's sleep, supplementation, self-care, and support system. And for M&M, it's mind and body, nutrition, and move. And I'll explain really quickly on each of these.
Sure, sure.
For sleep, if you are sleeping well, if you detoxing right, because during sleep you're going through a detoxification process, not like detoxification process during the waking hours. It is more efficient. If you don't do the right time, like let's say 11 to 6 or 10 to 6, 10 to 4 even, those are really important hours of sleep. You are going to miss out on the detoxification process. Plus, many that now stay home, they go to sleep way later because they feel they don't have to wake up in the morning. So that's like going, like you taking away the benefits that you were giving. Sleep is huge for immune system support.
Yes.
Tremendous. For supplementation, the second S, I have my basic triple zinc, vitamin C and D, and everything else should be really individualized. I work with my chronic patients, recommending particular things to them. I've been asked about other studies that are really quick studies for COVID, particularly COVID-19. Something like resveratrol is looking good, vitamin A is looking good. But again, this is not a recommendation for everyone. This would be more than A, C, and zinc. It should be individualized recommendation. For self-care, I see a lot of mommies doing schooling with kids. Like my 7-year-old is home and homeschooled, so quote unquote, which is like basically he's on his own because mom's working, dad is working. We don't have that option for him to be homeschooled. So I'm super proud of him. He's like a trooper, which we should actually. The kids are so resilient. They're doing their thing. They're not worried as they're adults.
Yeah.
For self-care, a lot of mommies, daddies, just us right now, this also is so important to like spend this few minutes a day, whether in the morning or at night, to take a breath 3 times, in with your nose, out with your mouth, just to let it all out. That also will increase immune system. Support system, my 4th S. I think it's extremely important to still be in touch with the loved ones, even if it means on Zoom, even if it means on the phone. Like I'm on the phone with my mom and dad all the time. The Skype, we see them. I have my best friends that I made sure we had a Zoom call with them. We got a glass of wine together. It was wonderful. For mind and body, realizing that staying in fear right now can be so disruptive for many functions in the body. It's the fear will put you in a very acidic state.
Yes.
The moment you move from alkalinity, which is when you heal, which is where you want to be, you start to develop cancers, tumors, illnesses, chronic conditions, and most important, inflammation, the beginning of it all. So staying in fear will get you there. It will definitely get you sick. It's like that old tale where a man was leaving his small little village, and the death was coming, and he said, was it a rabbi or a priest, whoever you believe in, and he says, where are you going? How many people are you gonna take? And the dad said 5,000. He said, oh my God, that's a lot. And then he sees that next year, and he says, you promised me what's gonna be 5,000, there's 15 gone. And she said, well, the others just died from the fear. She took 5,000. So fear is the basic instinct. Fear is a natural emotion, but we really need to think, read, get more information. And if you're feeling very fearful about this, therapy is also another option. There's therapists working. Don't let it sit. Don't let it become something more.
You know, one reason I think that happens a lot is because people have nothing to do, so they sit in front of their TV all day long, and all they get is bad news, bad news, bad news all the time.
Yes.
I never watch the news, never watch the news. I get my news from different sources from all over the world, and I try to make sense out of it. And of course, as a nutritionist myself, I can, pretty much tell what's right, what's wrong, and I take it one day at a time, but I don't freak out. I don't again, the best you can do is self-protection. Help your system, support your immune system, and I'll let you continue.
Yeah, I love it. You're right. It's like how is this helping me? Like, ask yourself that question whenever it's hard. Yeah, when fear covers you, it's really hard. You're feeling it emotionally, like your whole body physically feels it. So yeah, just ask yourself, remember, write it down and put it up. Like, how is this serving me? It's not. So I want to do something about it. My next letter is N for nutrition, and you just said you're a nutritionist, and it's so important. Nutrition is everything for gut health, for anti-inflammatory work. If you're now home, you eventually going to get out of the house. You've been overdoing it. I've seen so many people complaining, I've gained the weight. Oh my God, I have so many extra pounds. I've been cooking, I've been enjoying myself. At least I'm not afraid, I'm not in this horrible mood, but look where I've gained all this weight. Okay, do you think that is going to benefit your health or your body? If you answer that question yourself and you want to do something about it, then there's things to fix. What can you cut out? If you need to cook and you're enjoying it, look up a healthier recipe. Go into and read Ellen's book, right? It's amazing. There are so many ways to figure out a cleaner diet, cleaner, right nutrition. It's whatever goes into the body is going to serve you in two ways, whether it's going to be inflammatory or anti-inflammatory. There's nothing else.
Right. And so the thing is, when people are scared, they tend to go to comfort food, right?
Right.
And of course, comfort food could be also processed garbage, right? I mean, I see my son doing it all the time, and I want to scream at him every time, but it's like he's 38 years old. I can't tell him what to do anymore. Besides, he won't listen to me. So, he stuffed himself with chips and all these processed snacks and everything. I said, this is not food. This is not real food. But it's like, whatever. So when people are scared, a lot of people turn to food as a comfort, right? And so, which could lead to being more, because eating the wrong kind of food can damage your immune system, and not only gain weight, but it makes you possibly more susceptible for the virus to attack you, because if you're diabetic, if you already have a pre-existing condition, you are at risk. So if you continue the same diet you used to do before, it's not going to get you any better.
Yeah, you're 100% right, and we do see that again. Those numbers we get yet to see them, but it does look like people that are getting really sick with COVID and even like die. Those are diabetes, comorbid conditions, more than one chronic serious illness, overweight and obese. Those are in serious trouble. So again, how do you not see that if severely overweight and obese people are getting more sick with it? How do you not see that nutrition can be your medicine?
Right. And the other thing that's there's a couple of my first comment on that is, because the hospital are told not to accept a new patient or not to accept anything that is not COVID, then you have a lot of patients that have serious conditions, cancer, diabetes, and so on and so forth, that are not being treated and not being followed, kidney dialysis and so on and so forth. And then, then you increase their chance to die from their condition, even without the virus, right?
For sure, a lot of the cancer treatments have been postponed, and I saw this article in Wall Street Journal today that we are facing something horrific, for sometimes 2 months of not being diagnosed with cancers on time, or missing cancer treatments, or other conditions can mean life and death.
Right, so. And another side effect of this confinement is the rate of suicide.
Right.
Depression, suicide. I mean, not to mention the fact that people lose their job, they lose their income, they can support the family, they get depressed, and then boom.
Yes, it's a disaster what happened, for sure. But it is in our hands. It is in most of our hands. And if you see someone, know someone that have depressed symptoms or depression, or you notice, don't just watch this. Do something. Help some way or another. Give the phone number of a therapist. Recommend. Keep on calling. Be there. In different skills.
Yes. So what else do you have in your panoply of?
My last one is move, and that also works for depression. The more you move, the better your mood is going to be. The more detoxification is going to happen. The more you move, so you don't have to stop just because you're home. You could do exercise at home. You could move. You could pick up your legs while you're still in bed in the morning and do some crunches or things like that. If you want to invest in something amazing, you could buy like a small trampoline for the house. They make you really, really small ones. It's so beneficial for the lymphatic detox.
Okay.
It's like getting a lymphatic massage.
Okay.
So move is my last one on that protocol, and it's like you breathing air. Remember that That's what you need to do, just as important, moving.
Yeah, I must say, we are lucky in Texas that our governor is not, is not some kind of tyrant, because I hear that some states are very, very strict, and you have less liberty. In Texas, I've never seen any cops stop or arrest anybody because they were outside walking or bicycling. You go in the park in Austin and you see lots of people running and bicycling and walking and walking the dogs around. So that's good exercise, and people should be able to do that.
Totally agree. I'm also lucky. I'm in a town when I have a dog. I could go outside and take her for a walk. It makes a difference. It's tougher for those in New York and Brooklyn and homes, apartments.
Especially in apartments, yeah.
For sure.
I still do my yoga class through Zoom.
Here I go.
So my teacher is putting his classes on video, and then I just basically follow the same yoga routine as I used to before. It's just at home. So my kitty cat is working with me. She's doing yoga with me.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. We also have some local fitness trainers and yoga practitioners that went to Zoom to teach their classes. Beautiful. As long as you're being resilient, you're able to like roll with the punches. Yes, this happened. Let's move on to Zoom for now. Gotta do what you have to do.
Yeah, and I think we covered pretty much. Another issue that I read about this morning, actually posted on my Facebook. Some people are claiming that social distancing is actually not, doesn't make any sense. I'm not sure about this personally. What's your opinion on that?
Oh boy, yeah, it could work against those that have depressed symptoms and have mood disorders, and they need a lot of support. So that can go totally against them. They need people around. Those, especially that are suicidal, for sure. Otherwise, short social distancing shouldn't be extremely harmful. That's what happened. We'll have to deal with the post effect of it. Kids are resilient. We are more or less resilient. I'm personally a big hugger, so I miss my hugs. I miss my parents. It's tough. It's something we had to do at a time.
Right. Well, my son and I, we live pretty close to each other. My son and I basically 2 weeks ago decided, let's hug. I don't care. And we've been, we don't see each other very often, but when we see each other, we're not like, oh my God, stay away from me. I don't get close or anything. We did in the beginning because we're unsure about all this thing, but now we just sit next to each other, we hug each other, we see each other. So, it is, like you said, it is important. Personal touch is important, and especially Americans are huggers, right?
Yeah.
In France, we don't hug. In France, they kiss,
They kiss.
and
that is all good, all of it.
No, I'm talking, kissing on the cheeks. I'm not talking about French kissing. But it's actually forbidden in France. You cannot do a kiss on the cheek anymore, right?
Wow. Like the world is turning.
It's crazy. I mean, France compared to, for me in Texas, for example, France is very, very strict and to the point of being dictatorial. They're telling you how to live your life. If you step out, and you have to have a form, a special form that you fill out, and you have to show it to the cops. If a cop stops you in the street, what are you doing out? You have to show that. You cannot be outside of your house more than an hour. you cannot be outside of your house more than 1 kilometer away from your house. So if you walk, you bicycle or whatever, you have to make sure not to go too far, otherwise you're going to get a ticket. And that's like 135 euros per, infraction.
I had no idea.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, some people joke, even though it's not funny. It reminds me of the German occupation during World War II. You had to have a, housewives, what they call housewives in German, which is basically a permission. Are you permitted to be outside of your home? It's crazy.
Wow. I hope they lift that very soon.
Well, apparently it's relaxing as of yesterday. Some of it is relaxing, but they're also talking about extending it to July the 10th. I just got an email this morning.
Wow,
So,
July 10th. Oh,
yeah.
wait. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is the curve on the lower end?
It seems to be slowing down in France, yeah. But I mean, the same as here in other countries, the governments have been very, very late and very lax in reacting against this virus. So, in France too, they barely now are getting masks out to the public. I mean, they didn't have any masks. They just barely have a few masks for the doctors and nurses. And so they prevented people from buying masks. I heard a story the other day on Facebook that there was in a city neighborhood in Paris, there was this guy that bought a bunch of masks, and as a community service, he was giving them out for free. Give like 2 or 3 per person, and the cops came and shut him down because they said it's legal to give something like this for free, because the government, they want their taxes on it. So now they charge, for example, for a box, for one mask in France, they charge 5 euros per mask.
Like one of those flimsy disposable masks?
Yeah, the little flimsy one, 5 euros. Just across the Mediterranean in Morocco, they sell a box of 100 masks, paper masks, for 12 euros, 100. I mean, if that doesn't, I don't know why French are not starting a revolution, honestly. We
don't need another revolution.
And similar to what happened here too, first they say, oh, you don't need to wear a mask. And now they say you have to wear a mask. So make up your mind. Is it helpful? Is it not helpful? I mean, how does that work? I mean, another posting I put on Facebook was that all of these cloth masks are really not protecting you, because the size of the virus is like 10 times smaller than the holes in the fabric. So you're not really protecting yourself. It's a kind of a pretend. I guess for some people it makes them feel a little more safe. Yes,
it's all about the comfort zone. Yeah, it does. And that's why that's why I still wear mine in the stores, like, because you're gonna get those looks, because you're gonna get people that are fearful. Let them be comfortable for now until they lift the restrictions.
Yeah, the other day I cheated. I have one of those more industrial type mask, and instead of putting and cover my nose and everything, I just put it right under my nose like this. So I can still breathe through my nose. Otherwise, I'm like.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to breathe.
Yeah.
I know. And those professional ones are even harder to breathe in.
Oh yeah. So do you have any additional maybe personal stories? I mean, you did share a few already. Any additional comments would you like to share?
My comments would be, For those that are like stuck at home, definitely reach out to your friends to speak with them through Zoom or on the phone. Some kind of connection is necessary. If you're like sitting and watching TV, get up and grow some plants. Plants are amazing, and you like. I got myself a troponic system because of COVID. So I'm still it's a work in progress. I'm not amazing at it yet, but I already have some things growing.
Are you growing your own food or just plants?
It's greens.
Okay.
Yeah, inside home.
Yeah.
The basic greens for now, like arugula, kale. I'm gonna try some others. Yeah, and it's that work that you'll feel satisfaction. It's like you're gonna get that plant that on your plate later. You put in the work. Here's the food on my plate.
Yes.
Get up, stop watching those news. Yes, I totally agree with you. That's like a huge, very important thing. Like credible information should be able to see through the fluff. There's so much fluff out there.
Yeah. I have another crazy story for you.
Yeah.
For a while in France, not here, in France, for a while, the government, the prime minister, said that all people over 60 years old, everyone, have to stay at home. They cannot get out. They cannot. They will allow people to start to get out after. So yesterday, May 11, but they say everybody but older people. All the older people need to stay home, and it raised so much hell. Because French tend to be like that. That they back down, the government backed down on that, and they rescinded the order.
Wow.
Yeah.
We want to be free.
Well, yeah. It's interesting how someone made a comment somewhere that the government imprison healthy people while they're freeing sick people. Or in some case, some state, even in France, they're allowing prison people, criminals, to get out of prison. That doesn't make any sense. And meanwhile, they keep the old people in the retirements. They keep them inside.
Yeah, I hope all that just fake news or whatever they're called.
It's crazy.
But it seems to be happening now.
Yeah. All right, Mark, your turn.
Thank you very much. Obviously at some point the lockdown and so on is going to end. In order to prepare for sort of going back out into the world and all that sort of stuff, how would you advise people to firstly eat, supplement and all that sort of stuff in order to make sure that their immune systems are in tip-top condition once they get back into circulation of germs and so on?
For sure. That's a beautiful question, and thank you for asking. I think people still don't realize that this is what they should be working on, because we are getting out eventually. Their immune system is probably lowered from staying home because there's not a lot of communication been going on. There's not a lot of activity been going on. Their cells have not been encountering different bacteria, viruses that they would in a normal living situation. So now they've been sheltered, they're going to come out, and their immune system might go into hyper mode, like flip out. I haven't done this for a while. Let me show you how well I'm going to do this. So very, very scary thought that all these people have to think that what can I do to prepare? Obviously, you're not gonna jump and like kiss all the strangers to prepare yourself. But I think it's important to do an antibody test, a good one, in my group and in my emails, I sent out to my tribe all the breakups of antibody testing and testing in general. If you have been exposed and if you build the immunity, you seem to be in a better shape. We know now that 20% about 2 out of 10 do not build the immunity, do not have antibody testing positive after they have COVID. So are they prone to get it again? Possibly. So not even everyone builds the immunity. What can we do? Number one, like I mentioned, all these my 4 S's and M&M. Follow that for sure now until you get out. Support with supplementations. I believe in it. I believe in vitamin C, D, and I believe in really testing. Like in my practice, I do gut tests, I do adrenal testing, hormone testing, all that, so the inflammation can be at its lowest point. Like you're gonna get out in the world and be resilient. So that's our goal. In my program, all that I do is towards that goal, is to make sure that we get you there. And that's and the rest is in your hands.
Super. Now, there's been a lot of talk of, a second and maybe even a third wave of COVID. Again, we want to prevent people from suffering from any type of infection. What would you again encourage them to do in order to, super boost their immune system?
Right. If you're already doing most of the things I mentioned, and you want to do something more and to just make sure that you prevent, you could do things that make you sweat, which is great to like clear, whether it's a sauna or like a great exercise. They're now selling some small portable saunas, for if you want to have it at your home. That like getting hot, getting warm, sunshine. Like in my area right now, it's going to get warmer. Thank God. Get some vitamin D, sunshine vitamin. Preventing from the second wave is like checking your antibody and be responsible. If you know you haven't built and you're prone to be to get the infection, and if you're around people, if you are to see someone with a comorbid condition, that's like maybe it's not a great idea, or maybe wear a mask when you see this kind of people, or maybe wear something protective, or stay apart when you are around these people. Being responsible, like as much as it makes sense.
I mean, you mentioned an antibody test earlier on. Is there one that you can mention that you've got information to hand to?
Yeah, like I said, I was just putting out that information for my tribe. I am learning more and more, and there's a couple of functional diagnostic labs that are coming. A lot of them are coming out with different ones, but particularly it looks like I might be looking into diagnostic solutions for their stool test, and I might reach out to Vibrant America. They also have a 98% specificity and 97% specificity, and whatever the other S. So they seem to be really accurate. So yeah, one of those two I probably will bring into my practice soon. And again, the reason I didn't want to jump on it is because I wanted to wait until they have a really accurate test. Right now, there's really no room for false results.
No. So, I mean, obviously you're keeping sort of very much ahead of the game here. And I guess that you'll publish your findings on your website. So where can people find out about what you're doing, as it were?
Most of my blog posts right now, like all the information is on my site, digestivereset.com. That's where they can find me. That's where they can schedule. That's where they could get both of my books for free for an upload. They could follow me through there. I put out blog posts and information there, the newest stuff. And then they could sign up to the newsletters. I also send out good information.
Super job. So lastly, let's finish then with your 3 top tips for keeping healthy, both indoors and once we get back outdoors again.
3 tips to be healthy. Number 1 is to sleep. Sleep is huge. Number 2 is self-care. Like notice it's no, and number 3 is gut health support. Because everything starts in the gut. Immunity, like when you're nervous, like your gut feels it. Gut health is tremendous. Like this is not just what I'm all about, because this is what I do. I truly believe that if you have great gut health and great microbiome, and you've built a really great, I'm sure you're familiar with the leaky gut syndrome. You heal that and repair, then the lining is so thick and resilient. Your immune system is great. Your mood is better. You're so much healthier. So number 3 would be keeping your gut health support like in great shape.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. You've been very informative, as usual. We can't expect anything less. Alan, back to you.
All right. I guess we all pretty much talk about everything we needed to. So I guess we'll do the closing.
Indeedy.
Indeedy. Okay. Well, thank you again, Ina, for being on the Low Carb Paleo Show. And as we say in Texas, that hasn't changed. À votre santé, y'all.
Love it.
Yes, Ina, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.